The secret to that one is the pressure that I'm putting on the top of his right shoulder and his arm. Again, we're in baseball bat control. We're in no rush to get to one. We would like him worn out first, discouraged. We want a soul broken before we start to attack. It's always easier to finish someone when they're beat down, tired, and their confidence has been broken. So we don't want to get to one too quick when he's fresh and explosive. So when we hit one, instead of rocking to two like we would in the final 3 steps, we're controlling his right wrist with our left hand, swinging the right arm through, sitting up and pulling that wrist down, switching control. Now I'm controlling with my right hand. Now as I lay down and put the lockdown on, a lot of times guys would just tap from this. This alone is a lot of pressure. You could do a lot of damage here to the liver, and it's so much easier to get to the twister. So much pressure in here that it's hard for him to defend with that one arm. One more time. Baseball bat. 1. When transitioning from the truck to back control, again, which is the over-under, that's what we're always looking for, the leg attacks weren't working. He's got oak trees for legs. He's super flexible, it's not happening, and he's super hip to the snatch. He's not letting me have anything. You have to be smooth in transitioning to or from the truck to the back. Now, the first step in transitioning from the truck to the twister, the best step would be right hand attacking his right hand to baseball bat. When transitioning to the back, the first step, remember, if we lose control of his right leg or his free right arm, he just spins to safety. So that's what we always got to be hypersensitive to. All right? So if we know we can't get the snatch, then the first move is not going to be right hand to his right hand. The first move is going to be right hand to his shoulder. We're going to underhook his shoulder. We could just sneak in. We might not be able to reach his right hand, but if we could sneak in and grab his shoulder, that prevents him from spinning free. Once we're there, then he can't stop the left over. We grab the over-under, and now we're on the back. Anaconda, hand fight, choke. Again, when transitioning from the truck to baseball bat, it's right hand makes the first move. On his right hand, we pull it free. When we're transitioning to the back, he's hiding that right hand. We got to be able to get that right hand hooking his right shoulder. Now he can't spin. Can't spin to freedom. It's going to be hard to stop that left over. Now we put both hooks in. Anaconda, hand fight, choke. Also from this position, if you can't get the anaconda and the hand fight's difficult, if you can hook his right arm with your right leg, Joe Dirksen did that in the UFC. He was the first one, so I call this the Dirksen. That makes the rear naked choke a lot easier as well. BJ Penn does that as well, and he's becoming very popular around the world. But the first to do it in the UFC was Joe Dirksen, so to me that's been the Dirksen. Again, we're in the truck, we're transitioning to the back, sneak that right hand in, hook his right shoulder, get the over-under. We got the hooks in. We're hand fighting. Can't really get the anaconda. So we use our right leg to hook his right arm, get it out of the mix, and stick the rear naked choke in. As a purple belt felt I was hitting most transitions to the truck quite smoothly. As a matter of fact, the twister was such a big part of my game that my mount and back control suffered. Once I realized this, I decided to fix these holes in my game. So first I focused on back control and rear naked choke. With the help of my master, Jean-Jacques Machado, we put together what we feel are the best and most effective steps in mastering back control and the rear naked choke. The first and most important step in back control is the over-under, also known as the seatbelt. One arm over is your choking arm, one arm under. This is the ultimate control. This is the first step. There's total back control is when you have the over-under and you have your hooks in. But the first step is definitely not getting your hooks in. If your opponent's back is exposed and you try to put the legs in first, by the time you get one leg hook in, he's gonna be gone, long gone. You only have a split second where your opponent's back is gonna be exposed. So, a step jumping on the over-under here keeps his back exposed. You become a human backpack. The goal is to squeeze into his chest as hard as you can. The ball and socket grip here, this is the best. I used to do gable grip here, but Marcelo Garcia, who's the king at attacking the back, holds like this, and it makes sense. Because if your opponent tries to peel those arms off, a lot of times it's the non-choking arm, and that makes room for the choking arm to reach up and grab the shoulder. So again, when you're attacking the back, that first step is the over-under. If you go in double under here, this works great with the gi because you can grab his collar here and the control's pretty damn good. But in no gi, if your first step is the double under, he can threaten you with a Kimura. And I mean, you're on his back and now you have to worry about a submission. Or he can also roll for a knee bar. Where here, he rolls for a knee bar or just rolls the freedom. The first step should never be double under here. If you can't reach the over under, yeah, then maybe if you're low and that's all you can reach is the double under, but as soon as you can, you gotta throw that over under on top. The leg hooks are never the first step. They're always the second, third, fourth, fifth step. So really, when mastering back control and mastering the rear naked choke, it's all about over-under setups. The setups are having your opponent's back exposed just long enough to get that over-under. You'll get the leg hooks later in the scramble, in the roll. The most important thing is the upper body control and becoming a human backpack. You only have a split second to make something happen. So all the high-level guys in jiu-jitsu, as soon as their back's exposed, they know their back's exposed, they're gonna turn into you. So you have a split second to make something happen. So really, all back attacks are really over-under setups. How many transitions, how many setups do you have to get to the over-under? Because once you're here, now it's like first and goal on the 10-yard line. You're in a really good scoring position. This is a dead zone. This is most elite grapplers' favorite dead zone. My personal favorite is spiderweb, but out of the four. But most people would say the back is the best, and arguably it is. So we're gonna go over all the different transitions to the over-under, which leads to a rear naked choke or rear naked choke defense. So it's all about setting up your opponent to expose his back for a little second so you could jump on that over-under from different angles. So now that we established the over-under, the next step is to get to control them, squeeze them until we get the hooks in. Once we get the hooks in, then the basic steps into getting the rear naked choke is my left arm is the choking arm. So my underarm is gonna hand fight, is gonna make this a one-on-one battle. He has both hands on my choking arm which is what he's supposed to do. So I want to make it a one-on-one battle. I want to be able to peel his right arm off. This is a hand fight here. Needs to be developed. This needs to be strong. So it's one-on-one here. And as I'm battling his right arm here, this hand is creeping up and grabbing onto the shoulder, trying to get under his chin. If he frees that hand, we're going to be battling. He's trying to bring the hand back. He tries to swing it around. I'm battling. As I'm battling here, this slowly gets deeper and deeper. And then once I'm at the point where I can grab the back of his shoulder, then I put in the rear naked choke. A lot of people like to do the rear naked choke with the hand behind the head. I don't find this very effective. All the great rear naked choke masters, Marcelo Garcia included, this hand is hidden. It's like you're slicing off his head. My head is basically parallel to his. And again, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm slicing off his head here. Nice figure four. My wrist is under my chin and I'm pressing my head against his head. There's no way he could reach back. He wants to pull this arm off. So we want to hide it. Gotta look just like this. Some people do this. This is not good. It can work sometimes. Head's too high. Too much space in between both our heads. We want it nice and tight. I'll squeeze right here. So we get the over-under from any of many different transitions. We got our opponent's back exposed. We put the over-under. We maneuvered them around. We got the hooks in. A lot of different ways to do that. But